How to Cousins, it's Rusty. Guys, I'm going to take you on a journey today. A journey that leads to some stuff that I bought that I'm going to sell as usual. But I'm going to show you what I got. I'm going to talk about what I spent, what I'll pay for it, and hopefully educate you a little bit. I could just drag you around to look at all the junk I didn't buy, but I'd rather show you stuff that I do think you can make a buck or two on, that you could maybe get yourself, because this isn't just for me. In fact, the reason I do this is to help you guys out to make a buck or two. Let's jump into it.
Let's go find some treasures.
Here's a quick look, folks, at some of the stuff that I picked up today. And let's just jump right in, folks. Let's just jump right in. This right here is a sterling silver Bolo, okay? And it has turquoise in it and coral in it. And that's pretty common for those that when you look at Southwestern designed jewelry, like Bolos, cuff bracelets, earrings, necklaces, rings, and such. They're oftentimes made out of sterling silver. They're ornately carved, as you can see. This is kind of, cut in a particular way to make a design on it. And this right here's got a leaf and a flower, and it's got those stones. I paid $24 for this. I'm going to be able to sell this for probably roughly $100 or maybe more than that. I was kind of surprised they had it priced so cheaply, but you know what? Good for me. Moving on, I got this for $5. It is a purple. I don't know if you can see that with the background, but it's a very beautiful kind of a deeper purple color with rhinestones. And this particular brooch is by the Weiss brand, W-I-S-S. It's one of my favorite brands. Weiss, Coro, and Trifari are my favorite brands to find of vintage costume jewelry. This brooch, guys, for $5. I'm probably going to be able to sell this for probably on the low end $50. I may be able to make anywhere up to $75 or even $100 on this, depending on the buyer and if they're wanting that. I don't know if this came with a set of earrings, but I'm suspecting that maybe it did, but the earrings were not with it. Over here, you can see this pair of earrings right here. Now, they're made to look like turquoise. I don't believe that they are turquoise. I believe this is probably a white stone originally that has been dyed, folks. Yes. But as you can see here, if you can see those letters right there on the part that goes in your ear, it says MK. It stands for Michael Kors. Michael Kors is the brand. And these are gold tone earrings that are turquoise looking. Guys, these cost $2. $2, and I'm going to be able to turn around and sell these puppies for probably $20 to $30 because of that brand name. That is why I almost always buy jewelry that has a brand name already written on it. Okay, so I want to put these three together because these three actually have a lot in common. Folks, when you're looking at jewelry, costume jewelry or gold tone jewelry, whatever it is, flip it over, really heavily examine the back of it. Sometimes I buy jewelry that is not marked, but because I'm so familiar with those particular metals, how they look, how they tarnish over time, how they feel in my hand, the edge wear, I can tell even whenever there's a piece of metal, I can typically tell what type of alloy base it is, if it's some sort of a nickel base or if there's some sort of a copper in that. But a lot of the times, if it is a precious or a semi-precious metal, it's going to have a mark. For silver, it's going to say SS or 925, or it will say the word sterling or 800. Just do a quick Google search on the different stamps for sterling silver and you'll find it. Look around. Sometimes it can be very hard to find, and because there's different types of stamps, it might be written out, it might be stamped, it might be etched. If it's a handmade piece, sometimes they have these little tools that kind of vibrate really fast, and they can etch a name or initials or sterling silver on it, something like that. But that's a quick tip. Always look in the back. Sometimes there'll be even stamps that represent or symbolize that metal, but they don't actually say it. I'm talking about really older stuff that came out of Central Europe or even other countries, Asian countries, and India. These pieces, believe it or not, are all sterling silver. This right here is really kind of cool. You can see that there's this tiny little stamp right here in the center. And it almost looks like a little home. You can see that, like a very crude drawing of like a little building there, and it has some very faint initials in there. But I got out my polish, and I polished this up. You can see how dark this has tarnished, but look how shiny that is. You can see how I'm holding my phone to film this portion right there. But this is this little jewelry tray, guys. Sterling silver. They said that it was a silver-plated thing, and it was $3, okay? Out of the same booth, I bought this small spoon, and you can see how it's really kind of cool. You can see that if I zoom in here on it, you can see that it's actually open in parts to kind of see that figural portion there. It's really kind of neat. On the back, it's beautiful. It's got like it's etched on the back as well as on the front. Looks like a flower and a petal and a stem. It's very tarnished. However, on the back here, right here where I'm tapping with my finger, if you look real close, it actually says sterling on it. And then closer up to the spoon portion on the end there, it has some stamps that also represent the maker of this piece. Because they believed that this also was silver plated, I got it for $3.75. I'll probably be able to sell this spoon for closer to $75. Not exactly sure what I can sell this for. I will likely polish it all up, and someone will buy it. I think somebody will buy it for what it is, but if not, I'll at the very least be able to get some more than what I paid out of it just for the silver content itself. If someone buys it to melt, I can't choose for them, but I'd prefer them to leave it as is because that's a really cool piece. And then this right here looks just like a hokey piece of costume jewelry. And by hokey, I mean look at this. It's a crab. We got a lobster. We got shrimp. We got an onion. Over here, we got a thing that says rice, a pepper, and this right here says hot sauce. It's all the makings, folks, of, like a low country boil or something like that. But on this right here, there's a stamp on this claw portion, the inner portion that moves. It says 925. And as I just mentioned to you, 925 is something that means sterling silver. I can also kind of tell in the back here by this kind of goldish color, this hue on the silver that it's tarnishing. And that is a way that that's what the tarnish will look like initially when it has just started tarnishing. It's kind of like a lighter gold color of tarnish. Whereas eventually, over a long period of time, you get this really dark color. And honestly, guys, I've seen pieces that are beautiful when polished that looked completely black. I mean, black like the handle on this knife that I'm going to get to. So just because it looks ugly and gross does not mean it's not valuable. It could have just been heavily neglected for a while. If you find a piece of silver that has tarnished heavily, there's two different opinions out there. One is if you're going to resell it, that you should polish it up and make it look as clean and nice as possible because that'll draw in more buyers. And in some cases, depending on what it is, that's true. However, there are a lot of people who like antiques who do not want you to clean, polish, or mess with them at all. They either don't want it done or they want to do it themselves. Part of the reason for that is that whenever you polish a piece of silver, particularly if it's silver plated, this is especially important, but it also applies to sterling silver. Every time that you polish, you're basically taking this cream or this polish, which if you were to look down microscopically, it's tiny little abrasives with lubricant as a part of it. But these abrasives, these tiny abrasives, are actually scraping that tarnish and microscopic pieces of silver off of that. So every time that you polish a piece of silver, you're actually wiping silver off of it. And so if you're going to polish something like plated silver, like dinnerware or things like that. Don't do it too often, okay? Because every time you do that, you lose a portion of that metal. It's important to know. Next up, folks, we've got this, which I have not even unwrapped since they wrapped it up for me at the antique store. I paid $10 for this, and as you can see, it is a pair of scissors. But look how long they are. I'm going to put my hand down here so you can see the length of it. I mean, this thing goes all the way up past my wrist. They're very, very long. And listen, they still have really good cutting action there. Very close together. They're actually quite sharp still. They're quite old, tarnished looking. There is this symbol right here, which I have not looked up. I believe that these are going to be a German manufacturer, although I'm not 100% sure. The thing that kind of throws me here is that looks like there's a crown possibly on the top of that, and then what looks like an anvil, or not an anvil, but whatever that is, the weight that you throw off of a ship at the bottom of it. I'll look that up, and then on the back here it says Scales Tuna. So I don't know what that brand is. However, for $10, something of this size, something that's that sharp and that good a condition, I know I'll be able to, at the very least, double my money on that. I don't come across thin, long shears of this quality all that often. When I do, I like to grab them. Oftentimes, I'm getting ones that are about that long, and I sell those for $20 or more, about every other week. So I'm not concerned about that. Okay, moving on here, folks. Let's jump over to this just so we can kind of finish up here on the jewelry piece. This was a nice little brooch here, and it said silver tone brooch, $3 is what I paid for this. $3. It's geese in flight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 geese, and it looks like they're flying past the reeds, maybe out of a pond or something like that. It is it could be either a pendant type thing that could hang off of a necklace or chain, but it's also a pin, a brooch pin. I looked heavily on the back of this. This is an example of a piece where oftentimes if I look long enough, I'll find a mark. But on this one, I didn't. And so what that tells me, it's fairly soft. Now, silver is quite soft. Sterling silver is a soft metal. It's not terribly soft, but it is soft relative to gold, for example, quite a bit softer. That's why people like to work with it. Artisans like to work with it a lot because you can move it around and polish it real easily. This, if I push with my thumb, I can start to feel a give on this. That tells me that the core metal of this is some sort of a very soft alloy, some sort of like a nickel or aluminum, something like that, that is very, very soft. It's got a cool coat on the outside of it. I wouldn't be surprised if this is maybe silver coated or silver plated because of that shine, that shimmer. However, I can tell that the inside of it, this is not sterling silver because of how soft it is. Still, for $3, I could sell this for $10 by the end of the day, most likely, if I wanted to. But I'll probably put up a little bit higher and just wait to see what happens. All right, folks. I mean, I'm so excited. Folks, when I saw this thing, my eyeballs about fell out of their sockets with excitement. I'm going to have a real hard time getting rid of this, folks. I'm telling you right. I paid $25. Okay, it was a steal. And, wow, let me just show you. Oh, man, look at this puppy. Now, it says $100 in here, okay? I don't know if this came in this case originally or not. If it did, it was originally marked at $100. Did the original person pay $100 for it or not? I don't know, folks. I don't know. But what we have in here is a men's nugget, a gold nugget kind of shaped ring with a friggin' gigantic cubic zirconia in here. This is probably a 10 plus carat cubic zirconia, which is it's kind of like a man-made diamond, okay? This has a marking on the inside. This is 18 karat gold plate. So all of this on the outside is gold. What you're looking at is gold. It's 18 karat gold. The inside of it, however, is a different metal. But if I put this on my finger here, folks, I mean, I don't know. Do I look like I own a casino in Vegas? All right. Do I look like I'm an Italian mobster, like a real old school? No offense to the Italian mobsters, please. Or do I look kind of like, you know, I'm a real estate agent or an accountant out there somewhere who just, you know, he just wants to be flashy. I don't know. Maybe I look like a reseller. It's too big for my ring finger over here. I would have to have it on my middle finger on this finger, so it you know, really needs to go on the hand of a larger man than I am. However, you know, it's just I mean, it sparkles. It's hard to not look at it. Is kind of what I'm saying. I paid $25 for it, folks. It's 18 karat gold plated, and it has a gigantic flipping cubic zirconia in there. My guess is somebody will buy this, and they'll do the process to remove the gold. That will be well worth what they pay for it. They might kick out that stone and sell it by itself, because that is a big cubic zirconia. Anyhow, I'm going to sell this to some lucky person as long as I can keep my grubby fingers off of it, because it's just, I mean, all right, I'll move on. All right, I had to go put that ring in the other room because it's going to distract me for the rest of this video. Here we have, paid 25 cents, as you can see, for this. This is like a miniature menorah is what it looks like. However, menorahs typically have 9 or 7 candle holders, and this has 5. So I don't really know. Perhaps this is some sort of a version of a menorah. It's obviously small. I mean, it can fit in my hand. It is set up to have candles in it, or maybe this is just some sort of what they call just sort of a version of a candelabra that's a miniature. Not a miniature that could go in a miniature dollhouse, but just miniature in the sense that it's definitely smaller than a typical one. You can see on the inside there that it's got like that little flathead screw. It says Japan on it, so it was made in Japan, probably just made as an export trinket for the U.S. market sometime. My guess would be in like the 1940s, 50s, maybe even 1960s. And what we have over here, folks, is this really cool pocket knife. And this is what they call, the brand is Sheffield, all right? And it's the Sheffield, I think it says Richards. Open this up for you here. Let's zoom in here. Yeah, Richards Sheffield, and it says 19 on another blade. It says 1941. So what this is, folks, is this is a World War II era knife for a naval person, someone in the military, or someone who works on a boat. Okay, it's got this kind of claw-looking device here, and I don't know exactly what this was meant for. If this was meant to help open up things like clams. Or what, to poke something, but it's this heavy-duty piece of metal here. Really cool, still very intact. The blade is still quite sharp. Definitely got a little bit of rust and tarnish on it, but if a person wanted to, if they were so inclined, they can clean that up easily. Very cheap, folks. I'll be able to sell this. I've seen a wide range. $45 is the cheapest I saw. $150 was the highest I saw. And most of the ones I saw were from the 42, 43, 44 era. I didn't see a 41, so I have the oldest one that I can see comps for, and that could be good. I don't know. We'll just have to see. I have done very well with pocket knives, particular ones that have brands on them. Have done very well with military-based knives, survival knives. And there's a ton of places, guys, that you can source those without even having to go outside of your home. If you have a connection to the interwebs, there's a lot of auction sites. You can even buy, I've done this before. I bought a whole lot of over 100 pocket knives at one time that were confiscated by the TSA at airports. Old Rusty, a few years ago, he went on a fly fishing trip in Canada with some relatives, and I wasn't thinking about it. I had to hop on a plane to come back, And wouldn't you know it, I got there late to the airport. So instead of being able to check my bag, I had to try to rush through the metal detectors with it to try to get on the plane because I was late. I wasn't thinking. Rusty wasn't thinking. I was just trying to get on my plane. And so I put it in there, and wouldn't you know, I had about 4 or 5 knives, some bear spray, some bells, all kinds of random stuff in there you can't have on planes anymore. And they took them all. It took them all, and I understand. I totally get it. I wasn't trying to pull the wood, wasn't trying to hoodwink anybody. I was just trying to get to my plane. But the point is, on that day, they got 5 knives from one person. And so you can get out there and get these things at a discount, guys, resell them and make some good money. Pocket knives, if you look at the sell-through rate on that category, pocket knives sell very, very well. I would not be surprised if it was like a 50% sell-through rate. Very high. Now it's time to look at some of these postcards, folks, that I pulled out today. A lot of these ones you're going to see I paid $2 for. I try, when I'm sourcing at actual antique and thrift stores, I try to stay at $2 or $2.50 or less. It's getting harder and harder these days because everybody wants $4 or $5 for their postcards. And that's great. I mean, if someone's going to buy it, it's hard to make much money if that's what I'm paying for it. But let me just go through some of these I got, and I'll tell you why I got them. First off, we have one for $2. It's an Easter postcard. Condition isn't perfect. Definitely got some corner wear, particularly, and you can see a little fold there. The reason I got it is because this is what they would consider an anthropomorphic postcard, where you have a rabbit acting like a person, doing something. He's not wearing clothes, but he got a little backpack of eggs on there, and he's just going for a little trip. This one I thought was very strange, and that's kind of why I bought this. At $2, you got these embossed kittens up here, taking a look down here at some kiddos playing with their toys and stuff. I believe this is probably a Christmas one, but it's definitely German, embossed. It says USA down here. Oh, Asheville, North Carolina. Look at that. That's near where old Rusty's residing right now. So that was kind of cool. I got this one, folks, because it is an artist signed postcard. If you see right down here, the name is Ellen Clapsaddle. Familiarize yourself with the really collectible artists if you're going to get into buying and selling postcards. For $2, that was a no-brainer. It's not posted. It's in very good condition, so that'll bring some decent money. Here we have another one of these Easter ones with this rabbit. It's it's cooking a little something up. He's got the little chick on the frying pan, and he's just a little chef, isn't he? Great condition, unposted. Again, $2, that'll do well. Got this because it was strange. I don't typically buy St. Patrick's cards because they don't sell as well, but look at this. It's a little pig. All right, let's make sure you enjoy your St. Patty's Day while you're out there with your little pet piglet. I don't know what's going on with that. It's funny. It's a Tuck card. Raphael Tuck is a manufacturer of cards back in the early 1900s, and their stuff typically does pretty well. I bought this because it's cool. I mean, it's baseball. Sports stuff sells. The Great American Game. It's the Geneva Point Camp. All right. So I don't know if the camp means I need to look up Geneva Point. I don't know if this is a military camp or what. In Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire. There's a variety of reasons why this could sell. There are people who just buy postcards of real photos. There are people who buy postcards just from New Hampshire. There are people who buy postcards of military camps, if that ends up being this. And then there are people who buy old vintage sports-related and baseball-related ephemera, paper ephemera, and postcards and photographs. So I have a very high likelihood of selling this to somebody because there's multiple groups out here who might be interested in that. All right, let's get into some Santa cards, shall we? Folks, it's 2 weeks before Christmas, and I just wanted to recline on this couch for a second and tell you that if you have Christmas-related items, just a big old reminder, a hot tip here from Rusty, particularly postcards that involve Santa, and not just any Santa Claus, but Santa Claus that's wearing purple, blue, green, pink, really any color other than white or red, because there are fewer of those, and we've come to know Santa Claus as the jolly old elf who wears a red coat and has a bowl full of jelly, that sort of thing. His belly is not full of jelly, it jiggles like a bowl full of jelly. That's what I meant. He might eat a lot of jelly. I mean, he probably does to wear what he does, but anyways, that's me being judgmental. I apologize. Nothing against Santa. Okay, Santa? Please, just forget that I said that, okay? I've tried to be a good boy this year. So anyhow, look at those, look up those and try to find, if you have any, put those out now, because now is the best time to sell those with Santa Claus. That's why I bought these. Let me get right into it for you. I buy and sell a lot of postcards, and I'm pretty darn familiar with certain cards. Some of them are obviously more common than others because I come across them more often. And when I do, I usually pass on them. I'm looking for ones that I don't see as often. When I see a postcard for Santa, if I'm willing to buy it, it cannot be more than $5, $6 at the most, but usually I want to be at $5 or less, because if that card has a hard time selling to make money, at $5 online, I can almost always sell a Santa postcard and make my money back. So that's where I'm at. That's my break point. If it's a really, really nice old German card where he's wearing green or purple or something like that, I will definitely pay up for that, but I'll do my research on comps first. So here's a few that I got today. This one was at $4.75. It's little Santa. He's wearing green pants and a red vest with a blue back, and he's wearing his hat. And he's not just hanging out. He's actually working on making his toys in his workshop. So that's a little bit of a different type of card. Here was a great example of one I'd been looking for. We've got an artist signed one. There's an artist name down there bottom corner, and he's wearing blue, folks. Christmas wishes. It's not the prettiest card. It's not embossed, but because he's wearing blue, I think that's going to be a good purchase. $4.50 on that one. I liked this card because it's very colorful, it is embossed, and it's in pretty darn good condition. Here's Santa down here, and you got the kids. They're writing stuff out. They're probably writing their notes telling Santa what they want for Christmas. They're by a fire. There's a lot going on there. Pretty cool, and I was happy to get that for under $4. Here's another one of Santa. I've not seen this one in a long time, so, I'm not saying it's terribly rare, but this is a common scene with Santa, him smoking a pipe. He's wearing red. Nothing super special on that one, except that it is a winch card, I believe, because of the way that this design is under where it says postcard. $3.50. I'll do a $3.50 Santa card just about any old time. Here's a nice one. Christmas, again, with Santa. We're going to call him Santa. He might be just an elf, but he's wearing a blue hat. I like that. There's these chalices up here at the top. Striking midnight. I wonder if he's going to come. It's a tuck card. Good condition. Minimally used. All right, here's Santa on a vehicle. He's not on a sleigh, but he's got his little girl in the back there. I guess she's helping him today. He's got a green bag of toys. It's a Merry Christmas. He's on his way. Very, very nice condition, embossed. I paid $5 for that. I hadn't seen that one in quite a while. And then here's a really nice one that I liked. It's very old kind of looking to me. He's kind of more crude. He's got these interesting toys here. And it was good condition, and it's unposted, so I paid $5 for that. And then lastly here, Merry Christmas, blue pants, red jacket, good colors, got even purple underneath of that, which is an interesting contrast color. And Rockford, Illinois, December 22nd, $4.50 for that one. Was pretty happy. I found all of these folks today at the same vendor, just out locally. I could put that up for a lot today and sell it, but I'm going to probably throw them up individually. If I paid $5, I'm going to put them up for probably $14 and just see what happens. Last few cards, folks, I wanted to show you today. Here's another one of these Easter ones. Now they're dressed up. They're playing seesaw on an egg. He's got flowers. There's a lot going on here. Just a very strange, bizarre card. $2. All right, now the rest of these folks. Actually, I got this because of how strange it is. Thanksgiving Smiles. They just put a little girl's face on a turkey. And this is old, folks. This is from the early 1900s. I don't know. It doesn't say a date, I guess. And it wasn't postmarked, so it's not. It doesn't have the stamp of the date. But I just thought that was bizarre. So for $2, I know I'll be able to sell that. Now we're getting into these real picture postcards. You can see the shimmer on this. This has undergone some sort of a chemical process. And at the bottom there, it says the Fairmont Seminary in Washington, D.C. So I'm sure that this street exists. I don't know if that building's still there or not, but this was a seminary at one point in time. I'll pay $2 for a real picture postcard pretty much any day of the week. Here we got the State Custodial Asylum in Newark, New Jersey. Again, $2 for this. Very old card because they have this blank spot at the bottom where you can write. I can't quite, I think it says 1907. Yes, it does, 1907. any type of postcard that has to do with a mental institution of yesteryear, when it says asylum on it, those actually sell pretty well. I'll make some good money on that one for $2. This one says Flagstaff Bandstand. I'm guessing, and it says Soldier's Home. And does that say Tennessee? Something. Not exactly sure. What does it say on the back here? Okay, well, it's 1909. I know that. And I believe that says maybe RPO on it. I'll have to check out that a little bit. But this went to Asheville, North Carolina. Again, real picture postcard, $2. And then let's take a look at these last few here, folks. I guess let me get the postcards first, and then I'll do the photographs. This one was such a really, I mean, look at how sharp the photograph is on this real picture postcard. I don't know what piece of equipment that is exactly, but it says something like, what does it say on the front of it? Some sort of word. Can't quite read it. But these guys are all working. They posed for this. What a cool postcard, folks. I was really glad to find that, and I only paid 50 cents, believe it or not. 50 cents for a real picture postcard of this caliber is a steal of a deal. Steal of a deal. Here we got a man riding on one horse, holding on to another. And it says, happy are the three. So these three, the two horses and the gentleman, are happy. I paid 50 cents for this as well. Not the greatest condition, but I mean, someone's definitely going to be interested in that. And I can't lose money off 50 cents. This one's really cool, guys, and I've not really spent the time. I need to get out my magnifying glass and really pump it up. It's so it's so bright, rather, on that sign that I can't make out everything, but I can make out the middle and the last line, and it says, please shop thrift for our sake. And so what I'm guessing is these are a bunch of children. I don't know if these are orphans or what this is, but this is clearly some sort of a promotional advertisement for someone to shop at a thrift store that maybe donates money to the cause of an orphanage, perhaps. This is my best guess right now, but I don't know for sure. I'm gonna try to work on figuring out what that says. But another really awesome card. I paid up for this, $7.95, because I do believe that this is such an interesting view, an interesting card that someone's going to want to pay up for that. Last up on this little tiny lot here, I bought this photograph, really terrible condition, but if you look here, what we're looking at is what appears to be a caboose of a train that's just sort of stranded and a guy standing out there. I paid 50 cents for this. Someone who cares about trains, old trains, and maybe would recognize that particular type of train, is that a person on that as well? What is that? Let me look at this. Is that a person? Can you tell? I don't know if that's a person standing up there, or maybe it is. It almost looks like somebody standing up there posing. That's pretty cool. And then this last one, guys, is just a scene of a very old African-American gentleman with a white beard looking at a book, sitting on the porch of a home with a hillside in the background. I have no idea who this gentleman was, but I thought it was an interesting scene, and it was 25 cents. So, I just pulled out a quarter and paid for it and went on my way. Last thing I wanted to show you, folks, is this little grouping of postcards, real picture postcards that I got. I have not even looked inside of it yet. This is the surprise. Let's look at it together and see, was it worth the $12 that I spent on it? Here we go. So it was in this little package, and it said 8 quote-unquote family photo postcards, RPPC's $12. All right, sure. I'll pay, roughly a buck, buck and 10, 20 cents for a real picture postcard without even really knowing what it is. So let's get into it and see. What do we got here? Okay. Yours respectfully, Wilbur Smith of Coshocton, Ohio. There's this gentleman with his nice small little glasses. Not stamped. It's really poor condition. As you can see, there's water damage around the edge. Somebody might still want that. All right, this is kind of neat. This is a nice oval. They did this frame job around it so that it was almost like framed as they made the picture of a gentleman with a derby hat on, a woman with a very large hat with kind of flower stuff in there, sitting posing. It's not postmarked, but it does have a note that was sent to somebody. Here's another real picture card of just a man with an interesting middle part there on his hair. Not postmarked, not written on. That's a good quality one. All right, sweet little girl here. She's got her little teddy bear, which is pretty awesome, on one hand, and then looks like maybe a bell or a little cup, something like that in the other one. That's cool. That one will definitely sell. Our baby has entered the Coshocton Daily Ages subscription campaign for $800 in gold. Will you subscribe for the Daily Age? Cast the votes in favor of our baby? We earnestly solicit your support. Thank you in advance for any assistance you render us. We are sincerely yours. So some sort of advertisement of a subscription campaign for $800 in gold. I wonder how much gold that got you back then for $800. Here's one of a woman out back with her feeding her chickens. And she's making this face like, really? Really? You're going to take a picture of me right now? And you can see that those chickens are a little bit blurry. They were just moving around eating that stuff. That's a cool shot right there. All right, one on horseback. Oh, a horse and buggy. Wonderful. Now, the image itself was poorly made on this piece of paper. You can see that they kind of screwed up the chemical process a little bit on the edges here. But it is a woman in a buggy being pulled by a horse, and there are people who definitely buy those. That's cool. And then here we have, oh, what an interesting combo here. On the one hand, we got our steer here, our little, or our, heifer, I'm not sure what. I guess it is a female. You can see the udders down there below. A little cow, and then we got this big building on the right-hand side. I have no idea what these have in common, if anything, but that's a little bit of an oddity, so I think that might sell. I'm very happy for $12 for that. Are you kidding me? Some of these might sell for $12 by themselves, and the rest is just profit. What a great day today. Thanks, guys, for joining me. I really hope that, you know what? No, Rusty, put that away.
Beep, boop, boop. Let's go make some money. Rusty. Rusty Harris.